Well, there's more bad news for the plane manufacturer Boeing this morning. Two airlines in the United States, Alaska and United, have said that they have found loose hardware on some of their Boeing 737 MAX 9 aircraft. Their inspections began after a window on an Alaska Airlines MAX 9 blew out mid-flight last week when the plane was 60,000 feet in the air. No one was seriously injured. Portland resident Bob Sauer found the door plug in his backyard. It had blown out of the plane, leaving this huge hole.
I wasn't expecting to find it, so it was actually a friend of mine who lives in the neighborhood who suggested that I go check my backyard because people were looking everywhere around for the door and nobody found it yet. My heart did start beating a little faster at that point because I thought, oh my goodness, people have been looking for this all weekend and it looks like it's in my backyard.
And there it was. Well, let's talk to Eoghan Corry, editor of Air and Travel magazine. Eoghan, what's been discovered now by United and Alaska?
Well, it's getting worse by the hour or by the day for Boeing because further bolts that haven't been tightened properly have been discovered by United. The situation is that all the 737 MAX 9 aircraft have been grounded by the US authorities. It's not an issue for Europe. Thankfully, there are no European carriers that are operating this aircraft. The Turkish have a very small number, but almost all of them are run by two airlines, Alaska and United. And United came up with a report saying they discovered that there were flaws in the fitting of this false door. That's effectively what it is. It's covering up the space that you would use for a door in a high-density aircraft.
So it is a manufacturing issue rather than a servicing one?
My understanding is that the fitting is done by Boeing. This aircraft was only 2 months old. Just reading and gathering from people who are involved in the maintenance and in the transport of these fairly new aircraft is that Boeing technicians took it on themselves to do all the fitting on this false door. The fitting of an aircraft, as listeners will know, because we do a lot of it in Ireland, it's not just bringing your car in and getting points and plugs. Everything is very, very heavily verified with double signatures, double checks in every direction. We do a lot of maintenance in aircraft in Ireland and we're very, very skilled at it. But somewhere along the process here with Boeing engineers, different flaws have been showing up. And as always, in the aftermath of what happened on Saturday, stories are coming back of depressurization alerts in the cabin with this aircraft in advance of the incident on Saturday. And
it's an issue that could keep developing. As you said at the outset, it's changing by the day for Boeing. And we remember back to 2019 when a number of fatal air crashes involving Boeing, the specific aircraft then was taken out of action and it was nearly out for 2 years.
It's a huge issue. It's a huge issue for Boeing. It's a huge issue for international aviation because if you want to buy an aircraft, you have two choices. You go to Airbus in Toulouse or Boeing in Seattle. And we already have a delay issue at Ryanair, very badly affected. They expected 57 new aircraft to be ready for this summer season. Quite clearly, they're not going to get that number. And that means they haven't been able to load all the flights that they want to for the summer. This is a separate issue because it affects an aircraft type which Ryanair hasn't ordered, but it does mean that the credibility of Boeing is back in the spotlight. They have spent 4 years telling people that what happened with the initial MAX was the old way. They've now reformed. Everything is very different now. They were effectively self-certifying. The inquiry into those two fatal crashes showed that the US authorities probably didn't have the expertise or the personnel to do the certification process to the fullest degree, and Boeing were left to self-certify. They have been trying to clear that and clear their reputation ever since.
Okay.
And this is a very bad blow for them.
Eoghan, thank you very much indeed. But wait till you hear this. The iPhone that was sucked out of that plane at 60,000 feet, it was found intact. Not a single crack on the screen. The battery working, returned in full working order to its owner. Unbelievable.